Remy ransom, nigga.
Hey, y'all can't go with the hey, though. Hey, get him off the car.
Oh shit, Meech is over here. Somebody get some help, man. Fuck y'all got going on? Welcome down south. We'll send your ass back in body bags.
It's once and one time only. Stay the fuck away from Boom's bitch.
Saint, what the fuck?
Marquisha, stay with me, please. Marquisha, please.
Streets is gonna be watching to see how I handle this.
When you find that motherfucker, I'm gonna be the one to pull the trigger.
You can't be the one to pull the trigger. You feel me?
You think Terry Flenory retaliated?
Fuck yeah.
I'm sitting out staring at these intersections of the highways. They link to every major city and even got a direct line to Texas and Cali. I'm making Atlanta party central. We going national.
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang. It's been a minute since we got a recap, and here we are with BMF season 3 episode 1, and this season is gonna be crazy. From the D to the A, we see Meech's move to Atlanta, and this season is looking like it's gonna be a lot more dangerous than past seasons, and we're gonna dive into all the clues and breakdowns of why. But the first thing I want to say is I made a video talking about the real downfall of BMF in real life with the move to Atlanta, the expanding all over the country, talked about how they were transporting their drugs, all the money they made, and ultimately how the feds ended up bringing them down. I talked about the split between Meech and Terry, how they weren't on good terms when they got caught, and we see them start to drop the breadcrumbs hinting and foreshadowing at all of this in two places. One, we see the flash forward to Detroit 2007 when they both are already caught, they're in custody, and they talk about it. They haven't had a conversation in 2 years, and they had a debate about whose fault was it. A lot of people think it was Meech and his flashiness, putting everyone on notice, getting all the attention of the feds, but it actually was Southwest T who was the one on the phone taps, over 900 pages of transcripts of his conversations alone, so he inevitably gave them the evidence to bring them all down. Throughout the first 2 seasons, we have only really been seeing arguments and disagreements. I think at this point they're gonna show how worse it got, to a point they were barely in contact with one another, even talking about one another behind each other's back. In the end, they definitely weren't on the same page. We also see the breadcrumbs dropping of how they started moving product all over the nation. We see Meech in this episode at the end talking to T about the highways, how it's connected to Texas, Cali, down south to Florida, up the eastern seaboard, and he said he's ready to take BMF nationwide. So we start to see them foreshadowing all these big moves, the first of which being Meech's move to Atlanta. So we're about to jump into that, but if you want the full story and breakdown from beginning, middle, and end of the Flenory brothers, Big Meech and Southwest T, go ahead and check out that video. Probably the most amount of time I put into any video ever, with a bunch of research and things like that. So if you want the full story, like I said, go check that video out. So let's kick shit off with Meech. He has now made his move to Atlanta, and he's trying to set up his roots there now, but he's quickly starting to see and learn this is not the same as Detroit. He's not going to be able to talk his way out of certain situations. It's going to get a lot more dangerous for him, and we already seen it within this episode in multiple circumstances where this nigga could have easily died. So first off, if you guys don't remember Remy from season 2, when they first went down to Atlanta, he told them he don't want these niggas from the D here. He tried to shoot at them outside the club, and Ty Washington ended up getting killed. So now with Meech moving to Atlanta, of course he runs into Remy again, and the two gangs get into a big fight and altercation. This all boils over to Remy sending a hit at Meech. Meech, he's not backing down, but this is only going to get worse and worse and worse. As we saw at the end of this episode, he dropped one of Meech's boys to their body right in front of him and told him, "You're next, get out of here, and we're going to send you back to the D in body bags." And from all the trailers, it looks like a lot more scenes and things are going to take place where Meech is going to have to make moves. And I always thought it was crazy how BMF got so far with so little amount of bodies dropping, but I think we about to get more of a peek behind the curtain and see what they really had to do to make sure everything fell in place for over 20 years. So even though he's struggling to set up roots right now, it was said that in real life, Big Meech will go to the clubs and drop his pocket and basically spend the most money, and everyone will be forced to have to talk to him, or he'll buy all the bottles, and you won't have no choice but to see how he living, how he moving. And that's what it looks like it's gonna take place within this show as well. As we've seen him been in Atlanta, he's been to like 3-4 clubs already, and I expect him to continue this over the course of this entire season as he grows his empire more and more and more in a new location. Now, as for Terry, he back in Detroit seeing business and operations there currently. Now, we're picking up right at the end of season 2 where Boone sent one of his hitters to shoot at Terry and Markeisha because he was fucking his bitch. So of course, with that taking place, they're rushing Markeisha to the hospital, and this nigga Terry, he's ready to crash out like Meech was on Lamar when Lamar killed Monique. He's like, okay, we're gonna find the nigga who did it, and I'm the one who gonna pull the trigger. So everybody back in Detroit, they're calling Meech, asking Meech what they should do. So Terry, he's not gonna like that. I think as the season continues, he's not gonna feel like he's in control. He's actually the king of Detroit if Meech is actually running all the plays and operations in a whole new location 700 miles away. So he tells one of their henchmen, basically, y'all take out the kill, keep Terry far away from it, and that's ultimately how it ends up happening. But now, of course, in the episode 2 trailer, we're gonna dive into more this Sunday. We see that they're gonna be investigating Terry for his body regardless. He's also having family drama and complications, of course, with Wanda being pregnant once again, her having hard feelings about him being with Markeisha. So there's that whole beef going on and spewing. We already got teaser scenes and things like that of him and Wanda possibly losing their kid, Terry Jr. So we got to see how their whole relationship and things beef he has going on in Detroit factors into all of that. And I think the last thing to look out for with Terry is he's making it like a point of emphasis to do things his own way and not how Meech would have done it. He's getting rid of the whole music shop, and he's saying he's getting a restaurant, something more his speed. And we can already see in the episode 2 trailer this taking place, and I think this could also be a downfall in their relationship that happened in real life, where they both had different courses and plans of action, and not being in the same place could ultimately hurt and hinder the decisions they both make without one another. This might be one of them for Terry. So we're gonna start to see them fall off and not be on the same page, but somehow they lasted 20 years, so we'll see how bad it really gets. Now, to quickly run through the other characters, Flenory, of course, they're now getting a divorce because in season 2, the dad cheated on the mom. She ended up finding out it was with her best friend Mabel, was her name, I believe, or something like that. So they're facing the fallout and consequences of that. She says she wants to go through with the divorce, and also with Terry finally moving out the Flenory house, she says since they can't afford to get another place, he's moving into there. So they're divorced, but they're still staying in the same place. We got to see how that continues to play out, as we already saw scenes from other trailers that looks like Lucille might get back out there, might start dating again, and this nigga got a temper. I don't know how he's gonna be able to handle that, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. As for the detectives, both of them on some bullshit. So Brian, of course, his son now in prison because of his own mistake. The gun he kept on B. Mickey, his son ended up stealing and using it to kill a bully. So now his son, I believe, is facing 3 counts of murder, and they're finally taking him to juvie, and he's looking for every opportunity he can to get him out, but he still has his sights set on the Flenory brothers. As for his partner, Detective Jen was her name, I believe, she's back on cases and things like that, but she moving shady. She went and found the body of the dude who shot at Markeisha and Terry, and of course they're gonna investigate Terry for the shit, but she found a bag of coke underneath the bed, and she took a few kilos and stuffed it in her jacket. We gotta see what type of dirty cop she's gonna become, because she just despised her other partner Brian for suppressing the gun, the murder weapon, but now she's suppressing evidence and things like that. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what her plan is going forward. Overall, that's it for this video. I think this was a good season premiere, and it foreshadowed a lot of things that's gonna come down the pipeline with the downfall of BMF. I believe currently the timeline is in the early to mid-ish 90s. I saw them talking about the Olympics that happened in like around 96-ish. So we're moving pretty fast. I expect this show to probably finish around season 6, and it already has been renewed for season 4. And also, Big Meech is getting out next year, so that's kind of crazy to think about. Once again, if you want a full breakdown of the Flenory brother story in real life and know what you have to look forward to in season 3, 4, and on, go check out my previous video from last week. As usual, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's any characters you want to see me do a specific deep dive into, but I'm out.